You slept 8 hours. You know you did, because you checked your phone at 11, set the alarm for 7, and did the math 3 times before closing your eyes. 8 hours. And yet here you are, sitting on the edge of your bed at 7:04 in the morning, feeling like something heavy and slow drove through you in the night. Not tired in the way that makes sense. Tired in the way that feels personal. Like your body is refusing to cooperate for reasons it won't explain. You've Googled this. Of course you have. You've read about sleep hygiene and blue light and chamomile tea and magnesium gummies you bought once and forgot about. You've tried going to bed earlier. You've tried a different pillow. You've downloaded an app that tracks your sleep cycles and color codes your REM phases. And it always says the same thing. 7.8 hours, sleep score 84, good job. And still you drag yourself through the morning on autopilot, count the hours until you can sit down and wonder quietly whether something is wrong with you. Here's what nobody tells you. The answer has almost nothing to do with sleep. The 5 real reasons your body is running on empty are not in your bedroom. They're not in your mattress or your blackout curtains or the temperature of your room. They're biological, they're systemic, and they've been running quietly in the background for years while you kept adjusting your bedtime and blaming yourself. So let's actually talk about what's happening. The first reason starts at the smallest possible scale. Inside nearly every cell in your body, there are structures called mitochondria, and their entire job is to take the food you eat and convert it into usable energy. That energy has a name, ATP. It's the currency your body runs on. Every thought, every heartbeat, every time you lift your arm or blink, all of it costs ATP. And when your mitochondria are healthy and well supplied, they produce it efficiently, like a power plant running clean fuel at full capacity. But here's what happens to most people living modern lives. Chronic low-grade stress floods the body with inflammatory signals that interfere with mitochondrial function. Ultra-processed food fails to deliver the micronutrients, B vitamins, CoQ10, magnesium, that the mitochondria need to run their chemical reactions. Sedentary behavior means the mitochondria in your muscle cells aren't being stimulated to stay efficient. And oxidative damage accumulates silently over time, degrading the machinery itself. The result is a power plant running on bad fuel, with rusting equipment producing maybe 60% of what it should. You slept 8 hours. But your cells woke up on a depleted battery. Sleep cannot fix a broken generator. That's not what sleep is for. The second reason lives in your hormones, and specifically in a phenomenon most people have never heard of, called the cortisol awakening response. Cortisol has a terrible reputation. It's been branded the stress hormone, the villain of every wellness conversation. But cortisol in the right amount at the right time is what makes you feel alive in the morning. In a healthy, regulated body, cortisol spikes sharply in the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking. That spike is biological momentum. It's your body saying, the day is real, we're doing this, let's go. It mobilizes glucose, sharpens focus, gets your systems online. In chronically stressed people, and that is most people, this spike is blunted, flattened, mistimed. The starter motor turns but doesn't catch. You open your eyes and instead of a surge, you get a flatline. The day doesn't feel real. Your body doesn't feel ready. And no amount of caffeine fully compensates because caffeine blocks the signal that you're tired. It doesn't actually generate the energy that cortisol was supposed to provide. What disrupts this response? Irregular wake times that confuse your circadian rhythm. Alcohol the night before, which suppresses the cortisol pattern for hours after you stop drinking. Blue light exposure that delays the hormonal cascade. And sustained psychological stress, which gradually erodes the precision of the whole system. You wake up not from sleep debt. You wake up from hormonal debt. The third reason is the one that surprises people most because it sounds like something that should feel obvious. Inflammation. Not the swollen ankle, red and hot kind. The other kind. The low-grade, subclinical, invisible kind that doesn't announce itself with symptoms you'd recognize as illness. It just quietly commandeers your energy. Here's the mechanism. When your immune system is activated, even mildly, even chronically, it releases signaling molecules called cytokines. And cytokines, among other things, tell your brain to conserve resources, to slow down, to rest, because historically, inflammation meant infection, and infection meant you needed to stop moving and let your body fight. The fatigue was the strategy, but when inflammation is chronic, driven by gut dysbiosis, food sensitivities, visceral fat, sedentary behavior, or unrelenting psychological stress, that signal never switches off. Your immune system is running a quiet emergency broadcast 24 hours a day, and your brain is responding by keeping you in low energy mode permanently. You feel slow, heavy, unmotivated, and you sleep 8 hours and wake up feeling exactly the same, because the thing draining you was never the sleep. It was the fire your body has been quietly trying to put out for months. The fourth reason is the one that makes people genuinely angry once they understand it, because it is so common and so rarely caught. Nutritional deficiency, specifically iron, B12, vitamin D, and magnesium. These are not exotic or rare. They are extraordinarily prevalent, particularly in people eating modern diets, in women of reproductive age, in people who avoid meat or dairy, in anyone who spends most of their time indoors. And every single one of them causes fatigue that sleep cannot touch. Without adequate iron, your red blood cells can't carry enough oxygen to your tissues. Your muscles and your brain are running hypoxic, starved of the fuel they need to fire properly. Without B12, the myelin sheaths around your nerve fibers start to thin, and your nervous system begins to misfire. The signals slow down, the cognition fogs, the energy disappears. Without vitamin D, which is less a vitamin and more a hormone that regulates hundreds of biological processes, your mitochondrial function suffers, your immune system dysregulates, and your mood destabilizes. Without magnesium, your cells literally cannot complete the chemical reaction that produces ATP. The energy never gets made. And the maddening part is that standard blood panels often miss these deficiencies unless you specifically ask for them. People walk around for years, medically cleared, biologically depleted, wondering why they're exhausted. Not laziness, not weakness. A missing input in a system that needed it. The fifth reason is the deepest one, and it reframes everything that came before it. Your nervous system has two primary operating modes. The sympathetic mode, fight, flight, freeze, is your threat response. It mobilizes resources for immediate danger. It's fast, it's powerful, and it is profoundly energy expensive. The parasympathetic mode, rest, digest, repair, is where true recovery happens, where cells regenerate, where inflammation resolves, where hormones recalibrate, where the mitochondria get the conditions they need to restore their own function. Here is what chronic stress does. It keeps the sympathetic system engaged at a low but persistent level, 24 hours a day. Not the acute spike of genuine danger, just a constant humming threat signal that never fully resolves. Elevated resting heart rate, shallow breathing, subtle but persistent muscle tension, a background hypervigilance that never quite lets go. And when you fall asleep in this state, you sleep, technically. Your eyes close, your brain cycles through stages, your sleep tracker gives you an 84. But your nervous system never fully shifts into parasympathetic dominance. You never fully recover. You technically slept. But your body spent the night idling in the wrong gear. This is why the exhaustion feels different from ordinary tiredness. It doesn't respond to sleep the way it should. It doesn't lift after a weekend of rest. It's deeper than that. It's systemic, it's layered, and it's been building for longer than you probably realize. And here's the thing. Tiredness at this level is not a character flaw. It is not laziness wearing a medical disguise. It is your body's most honest communication. A signal with a specific source, sometimes several sources, running simultaneously, compounding each other in ways that make the exhaustion feel inexplicable and permanent. But inexplicable is not the same as unexplainable. It just means you hadn't been given the right framework yet. The exhaustion stops being a mystery the moment you stop treating it as a sleep problem. Your body isn't failing you, it's talking to you, and it's been trying to say the same 5 things for a very long time.